What is up, people? Hope you're all doing well. Before you enjoy your weekends, bringing you some CSGO news. As per usual, all of today's stories will be timestamped down below. The first one about Doc. You know, this guy's been back and forth, not been in the limelight for quite some time in the CSGO scene. I remember when I first covered him, and he's been a very controversial character. You know, despite me very much liking the guy and him still being very quiet about a lot of issues, this one included, he has now been given a 1-month ban on the Faceit platform for playing knowingly with a known cheater in CSGO, that being Mickey Goalie, I do believe the guy he did play with, and well known to apparently be a cheater. And Faceit has now responded, because of you playing with a cheater, yes, you too, through association, you get a ban on the Faceit platform. 1-month ban for Doc, and as of right now, no response from the guy. Of course, if you guys check Reddit, though, there are people on all sides of this story. Maybe a future video, because, you know, where I come from on Doc, I don't see the reason to go after the guy. Obviously, very shy in his upbringing, not known for having a voice or a camera for the longest of times. We've had players out there like Chris J offer to actually have him out to prove his identity and to prove him as a player. We've had others out there in the scene try and question his legitimacy and also call him a cheater. Many accusations like that. You know, I think many a times Doc has tried to clear his name or had options to clear his name and has been, albeit suspicious about it, and now biting him back in the butt when it comes time for his steady rise for some time throughout late 2018, even in 2019. I believe he did go to one LAN event with the Belgium roster, if Scream was a part of that as well. And besides that, we thought maybe he was going to have his chance. Ever since then, nothing from Doc, except for this story, which is, it's albeit very unfortunate. But for all the people out there very worried about this only being a 1-month ban, I would say that's a pretty decent ban. Yes, it could have been 6 months, could have been maybe 3 months in between, but you know, we've seen the likes of many worse. I would say, in my own personal opinion, I would say we've seen many offenses go probably uncharged, if not very lightly charged, on the Faceit platform, other platforms as well. I believe I covered it a while back. Faceit had a girl who was actually really torn into by a couple of guys on her team, and both those guys were given either 1-day or 3-day bans, and it was some it was very terrible stuff. Obviously, by many accounts, some people will say cheating is a greater offense than saying very mean words to each other, albeit whatever you guys want to say. There have certainly been offenses on Faceit that have been given light punishments, I would say, and a 1-month ban for Doc hopefully will learn his lesson. And I wish he would have come forward by now and maybe cleared his name a little bit on to exactly why he did this, but albeit I really can't defend the guy, because I'll be honest, it's dumb to play with a known cheater, and to know that you can be punished for it. I'm sure he knew the punishments, he knew the dangers of doing so, and he still chose to do so. Not a good look for a guy who's been, I would say, was on the up and come up, and been off the radar for quite some time. So it's not a story that brings me joy to cover. But anyway, hopping off of that, guys, hopping into possible injury as well. That being NBK taking to Twitter just yesterday to discuss a possible wrist injury. And this is not something you want to see as an OG fan. Last time I talked about OG was a couple days back, where Mantu, for apparently the Blast Pro Spring Series, spending 38 minutes inspecting his own skins and weapons, dying 4 times while doing so. And now you have one of your 3 IGLs, obviously NBK, not the main IGL, reigns right now on the roster, now potentially with a wrist injury, taking some time off, at least from streaming, in order to actually get that taken care of. Hopefully it does not become a next situation. Remember of Big Clan, he was on and off for quite some time with that wrist injury, and now actually off the roster as well. It seemed to actually really impose on his play, as you can imagine, with a game like CSGO, hoping all the best for NBK, and he actually goes on and replies, "Take care of your wrists." One of the more fragile things for esports pro players out there has to be these 2 things. That's gonna be a clip right there. Has to be these 2 things right here. And very lastly, for all of you guys, a great interview I will link down below. That's gonna be with none other than Get Right himself. A Dignitas interview ever since that new roster has been signed. It's gonna be a weird time to see if these guys can actually win some titles in 2020. I took to Twitter a couple days back to talk about one of the organizations under the most pressure, I would say personally, in esports and financially, has to be Dignitas, heavily invested into several esports, League of Legends being certainly one of them, dropping $2.3 million on a 2-year contract with a player known as Huni, and now this roster could not have been cheap at all. The old NIP reunion is now on Dignitas. He did take this interview, though, to actually talk about how his offers came around, and the part that really stuck with me, he actually brings up the offers and talks about how some teams who had offered him, the players had no clue. And this just reminds me of now the Dignitas coach, Fifth Lauren, when he was formerly replaced on that roster, supposedly having no clue they were searching for new players. And the new player shows up at his door, and the team lets him know he's being let go. I believe that's how the story went. It could be a bit back and forth on that, but it's so disgusting to see, ironically enough, now Get Right, when he had offers from other teams out there, the same thing's going on. These teams and organizations, albeit it's business, right? Not every team's going to go and tell him, hey, little guy, we're looking for replacements for you, because that can impact their results and how they actually carry themselves in game, right? If you know you're going to be replaced, obviously that impacts your in-game play as well. So I understand both sides, but it's so sucky to see it's still going on where Get Right could have joined a team and he could have been the one, or someone out there, a rumor, could have been the one to break the news to that player that he is being replaced, not the organization or his teammates, but news outlets, and that's gotta hurt so much. That's still going on. I don't know if it's ever going to stop in esports, but as per usual, I hope you guys all enjoy. A bit of a sucky day when it comes time for news stories out there. Nothing too uplifting. Hopefully come back Monday, though. Some other CSGO news, esports, and gaming news stories for all of you guys. As per usual, hope you all enjoy. Have a great, safe weekend. I'll be back here every single day breaking down esports and gaming news as per usual. Until next time, take care. Okay, bye-bye.